Welcome to the Great Survivors, where every extinction is a new beginning, and every fossil is a testament to resilience. Imagine yourself standing in a forest unlike any you know. The air is thick, warm, and heavy with the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers that are at once alien and familiar. Giant ferns curl up towards a hazy sky, and towering conifers, ancestors to our modern redwoods, form a canopy that dapples the light. Strange insects with iridescent wings buzz past your ear, their hum a constant, rhythmic pulse in this ancient world. This is the Late Cretaceous, a planet teeming with life in its most spectacular forms. Ever wonder what it truly felt like to witness a world on the brink of collapse? So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you find the journey we're about to take is a valuable one. We'd love to see you in the comments below, letting us know where you're watching from and which story of survival fascinates you the most. Now, let's journey back to a world on the edge of oblivion to find the spark of life that refused to die. You are here, 66 million years ago, in the place we now call North America. The ground beneath your feet is a soft carpet of moss and fallen leaves. A gentle stream murmurs nearby, its water stained brown by tannins from decaying vegetation. This world feels ancient, stable, and permanent. It has been ruled by the same dynasty for over 150 million years. In the distance, a herd of shovel-beaked Edmontosaurus moves through a clearing, their calls echoing through the trees like deep, resonant horns. You feel a tremor in the ground, not of an earthquake, but of footsteps. Heavy, deliberate, and powerful. You instinctively know to stay hidden. The rhythm of this world is one of predator and prey, of immense scale and deep time. Life here is a complex and beautiful tapestry, woven over eons. Every creature, from the smallest burrowing mammal to the largest long-necked titan, has its place. The sun is high, the air is alive, and there is no hint, no premonition, that this is the final day of a magnificent era. The planet is breathing, thriving, completely unaware that it is living on borrowed time. The footstep tremors grow stronger, and you see it. Parting the giant ferns is the undisputed tyrant of this age, a Tyrannosaurus rex. It is larger than you could ever imagine, a walking mountain of muscle and teeth. Its head alone is the size of a small car, and as it exhales, the sound is a low, guttural rumble that vibrates deep in your chest. Its scarred snout lifts to test the air, its gaze sweeping the forest with an intelligence that is both terrifying and mesmerizing. Every creature in its path freezes or flees. This is the pinnacle of evolution in this world, an apex predator perfectly honed by millions of years of dominance. The ground is its kingdom, and all other life exists by its permission. This is the established order, an empire of flesh and bone that seems as permanent and unshakable as the mountains on the horizon. The great dinosaurs are not just animals. They are the architects of this reality, shaping the very ecosystems around their colossal feet. They are magnificent, terrifying, and in their own way, they are a symbol of a world in perfect, if brutal, balance. They are the rulers, and there is no reason to think that will ever change. But look closer. Your gaze shifts from the giant to the details it ignores. In the branches of a cycad, a flash of movement, you see a small creature, no bigger than a robin. It has feathers, wings, and the unmistakable silhouette of a bird. It hops along a branch, its head cocked, its bright eyes scanning the leaf litter below for an unsuspecting insect. It has a beak, but the fossil record suggests that inside that beak are tiny, sharp teeth, a relic of its reptilian ancestry. This is one of the Enantiornithus, the opposite birds, a flourishing and diverse group that fills the Cretaceous skies. You see others now that you know what to look for. Some wading in the shallows of the stream, probing the mud with long beaks, others soaring in flocks high above the canopy. They are everywhere, living in the margins of the giant's world. They are successful, yes, but they are secondary. They are the background noise, the nimble opportunists who survive by staying out of the way. To the great T-Rex, they are little more than fleeting distractions. They are a footnote in an epic saga written by titans. Yet, in these small, warm-blooded, and resourceful creatures lies a secret, a spark of resilience that the giants, for all their power, lack. There is no warning, no slow, creeping change. One moment, the world is as it has been for 100 million years. The next, everything is different. It starts as a pinprick of light in the blue sky, a new star where none should be. The animals around you grow strangely quiet. The drone of insects ceases. The distant calls of the hadrosaurs fall silent. An unnatural stillness descends upon the forest, a collective holding of breath. You look up, and the star is visibly larger now, impossibly bright, casting strange, sharp shadows even in the middle of the day. It isn't moving across the sky like a comet. It is growing, swelling, resolving from a point of light into a distinct object. A mountain of rock and ice, wreathed in plasma, descending from the heavens at more than 40,000 miles per hour. It burns with a light that forces you to shield your eyes, a terrifying, silent messenger of doom. Then, it strikes. Though the impact is 1,000 miles away in the shallow sea that will one day be the Gulf of Mexico, the effect is instantaneous. The horizon flashes with a light so brilliant it vaporizes the concept of color, bleaching the world to pure, searing white. A wave of energy, silent and invisible, washes over the land, and every nerve in your body screams. Seconds later, the ground beneath you erupts. This is no earthquake you have ever known. The very crust of the planet ripples like water, throwing ancient trees to the ground as if they were twigs. The earth cracks open, releasing gases from deep within the world. Before you can even process the violence of the ground, A new horror begins. The sky, which was blue just moments ago, begins to darken as a plume of vaporized rock and asteroid, trillions of tons of it, is blasted into space, a newly formed moon of debris. As this material reaches the apex of its trajectory and begins to fall back to Earth, a second, even more terrible phase of the extinction begins. The sky ignites. The tiny returning droplets of molten rock and glass, superheated by atmospheric entry, turn the air into a planetary-scale furnace. The atmosphere itself begins to glow, an angry, oppressive red. The sky is no longer falling. The sky is on fire. From a place of shelter, perhaps a deep fissure in the rock, or a hastily sought burrow, you witness the world burn. The heat is unbearable, and the air, thick with ash, is a torment to breathe. The great forests that stood for millennia are consumed in a global firestorm, a raging inferno that sweeps across continents. For any creature caught in the open, there is no escape. The reign of the dinosaurs, measured in millions of years, is being erased in a matter of hours. The sounds are of roaring fire and the splintering of ancient trees. But underneath it all is a growing, terrifying silence as the vibrant pulse of life is extinguished. This is the first wave of the apocalypse, a cleansing by fire. What survives will face an even greater trial. The fires eventually burn themselves out, but they leave behind a planet shrouded in their own smoke, combined with the fine dust of the pulverized asteroid. You emerge from your shelter not into daylight, but into a perpetual twilight. A thick, gray-black haze chokes the atmosphere, blotting out the sun. The light that filters through is dim, ghostly, and insufficient to sustain life. Day becomes indistinguishable from night. With the sun's warmth blocked, the planet begins to freeze. Temperatures plummet, and a bitter, nuclear winter sets in. Rain falls, but it is not life-giving. It is a black, acidic sleet, tainted with sulfur from the vaporized rock of the impact site, poisoning the streams and lakes. The very foundation of existence has been shattered. Without sunlight, photosynthesis ceases. The plants, the great producers that form the base of the entire Cretaceous food web, begin to wither and die. First the ferns, then the cycads, then the great conifers. The world is turning brown and gray. For the great herbivores, the vast herds of triceratops and hadrosaurs, this is a death sentence. Their world of plenty has vanished. You see them? Gaunt and desperate, stripping bark from dead trees, their powerful bodies now a liability. Their starvation is the true beginning of the end. And when they fall, so too do their hunters. The mighty T-Rex, the unbeatable apex predator, now stalks a barren, frozen wasteland. Its roars no longer a sign of dominance, but a desperate cry in an empty world. Its size, its power, its specialization, the very traits that made it a king, have become its undoing in a world where the small and adaptable have the only chance. Time loses its meaning in the long twilight. Months, maybe even years, pass in a gray, frozen haze. The great bellowing and earth-shaking footsteps of the dinosaur empire have faded into a profound and unnerving silence. The world has become a ghost of itself, draped in a uniform shroud of gray ash and soot. The skeletons of the once mighty forests stand like black sentinels on the horizon, and the bones of the fallen kings lie half-buried, monuments to a lost age. The air is still thin and cold, but something is changing. The relentless fall of black sleet has eased. The thickest of the dust has begun to settle from the upper atmosphere. One day, a strange and unfamiliar light breaks through the gloom. It is weak, watery, and pale, but it is unmistakably the sun. Its rays touch the scarred surface of the planet for the first time since the impact, illuminating a world wiped clean. This is the dawn of a new geological era, the Cenozoic. You are there to witness it. A stirring in a hollow, burned-out log. A flicker of movement from a burrow dug deep beneath the roots of a dead tree. Life, tenacious and stubborn, emerges. You see them, the survivors. A small flock of birds, their feathers dull with dust, huddled together for warmth. They are gaunt, hardened, but they are alive. Their ancestors lived in the shadow of giants, but those shadows are now gone forever. The world, though desolate, is theirs. They step out into the open, a freedom their kind has never known. There are no tyrannosaurs to hunt them, no raptors to stalk them, no colossal herbivores to trample their nests. The air, once filled with the roars and calls of the titans, is now theirs to fill. A tentative chirp cuts through the silence. It is a frail sound in the vast emptiness, yet it is an act of defiance. It is the sound of a future being claimed. They begin their search for food, not in the lush canopy of a vibrant forest, but in the ash and debris of a global graveyard. It is a grim inheritance, but it is a beginning. The greatest extinction event in 66 million years is over, and the age of mammals, and the age of birds, the last living dinosaurs, has just begun. But how? Why did you survive when the lords of the earth, in all their magnificent power, perished? The answer wasn't brute strength or size, but a unique and humble toolkit of adaptations that suddenly became the most valuable inheritance on the planet. The fossil record paints a clear picture. The birds that vanished alongside the great dinosaurs were largely those with toothed jaws, specialized for diets that disappeared overnight. The survivors, your ancestors, had a secret weapon, the modern, toothless beak. In a world scoured by fire and cloaked in darkness, the global food web had collapsed. But beneath the ash, a vast larder of life lay dormant. Seeds, billions upon billions of them, tough, nutrient-packed time capsules, were waiting in the soil. Your beak, a tool of precision and power, was perfectly designed to crack them open. While the last of the giant carnivores starved, you were able to unearth and process this hidden bounty. The beak was your key to unlocking the planet's emergency pantry. Your small size was another crucial advantage. A body the size of a T, Rex demanded a mountain of food every day. Your body, however, required only a few precious seeds or a dormant insect to keep your internal furnace running. And that furnace, your warm-blooded metabolism, was another critical piece of the puzzle. It allowed you to regulate your own temperature, to stay active and forage in the bitter, unnatural cold of the impact winter, while larger, cold-blooded reptiles grew sluggish and died. You could hide from the acid rain and freezing winds in tiny crevices, hollows, and burrows that a larger animal could never use. Furthermore, your life cycle was built for speed. A great dinosaur might take over a decade to reach maturity. You could hatch, grow, and be ready to reproduce in under a year. This incredible reproductive rate meant that while the dinosaurs were sliding into extinction, your populations had the potential to rebound with explosive speed the moment conditions began to improve. And finally, you had the superpower of flight. It was the ultimate escape, allowing you to travel vast distances across the ruined landscape, seeking out rare pockets where life was returning, and colonizing new territories with an efficiency the land-bound giants could never match. The beak, the small body, the fast metabolism, and the power of flight. This was the four-part recipe for enduring the apocalypse. With the toolkit for survival secured, you and your fellow feathered pioneers stepped into a world of profound emptiness and limitless opportunity. Survival was the battle. Inheriting the Earth was the prize. For millions of years, evolution had been constrained by the sheer dominance of the great dinosaurs. Now, the constraints were gone. The planet was a blank canvas, and your lineage held the brush. What followed was one of the most spectacular evolutionary explosions in our planet's history. The skies, once patrolled by leathery-winged pterosaurs, were now yours alone. The forests, free from their former saurian inhabitants, were silent and waiting. The shorelines, lakes, and rivers were undefended territories. From that handful of hardy, seed-eating survivors, 1,000 new forms began to emerge with breathtaking speed. You are watching this genesis. In the forests of South America, some of your descendants abandoned flight altogether, growing to towering heights, evolving into formidable, fleet-footed predators, the terror birds that took the place of the raptors. In the frigid waters of the southern pole, others adapted their wings into powerful flippers, becoming expert swimmers and deep divers, the ancestors of penguins. New hunters took to the sky, evolving into eagles with eyesight of astonishing acuity and talons of lethal power. In the renewed forests, small, nimble forms specialized in sipping nectar from the newly resurgent flowering plants, becoming hummingbirds. Others became parrots, masters of mimicry, owls, silent hunters of the night, and ostriches, giants of the savanna. From a single point of survival, you diversified into over 10,000 species, filling every conceivable ecological niche. You repopulated the world with color, song, and flight. The quiet chirps of the first dawn gave way to a global chorus. Every time you see a sparrow on a wire, a pigeon in a city square, or an eagle soaring on the wind, you are not just looking at a bird. You are looking at a living dinosaur. You are looking at a great survivor. Our journey through time ends here, but the story is all around us. The saga of the birds is a powerful reminder that the most catastrophic endings are often the seeds of the most creative beginnings. It teaches us that resilience is not always about size or strength, but about adaptability and the ability to find opportunity in the ruins of an old world. The humbling sparrow in your garden and the majestic eagle in the sky, are direct descendants of those who witnessed the fall of Titans and endured a world of fire and darkness. They are a living testament to the incredible, unbroken thread of life that connects us all to the deepest parts of our planet's history. Extinction is not just a conclusion, it is the powerful, relentless engine of creation, clearing the way for new stories to unfold.